Are you satisfied with the results that you have in your life? I'm going to suggest to you that mentorship is the way to get satisfaction, to get those results in your life that you are looking for. Why? Because every great master had a mentor, and every great champion had a coach. Every great influencer had an instructor, and every great author had an advisor. Every great teacher had a tutor, and every great king had a counselor. So, friends, I suggest to you that a mentor, a coach, instructor, advisor, tutor, counselors, those are all words that mean the same thing as a mentor. And I'm going to suggest to you that mentorship is the way for you to get the results that you want in your life. And my title for today is How to Get a Mentor in Just 6 Steps. And you can see that the word mentor is a framework. It's a step-by-step process, MENTOR, standing for different things. So let's get right into it. What does the M stand for in mentor? The M in mentor stands for model. Model mini mentors. Now, what do I mean by this? Proverbs 15 and verse 22 says, without counsel, purposes are disappointed, but in the multitude of counselors, they are established. So what does this mean? That without counsels, purposes are disappointed. Counsel is another word for mentorship. And the multitude of counselors, they are established. So it doesn't say just one counselor. It says in the multitude of counselors, they are established. And what is established? Your visions, your goals, and your dreams are established through a multitude of counselors. So here you can see that if you have a vision, if you have a dream in any area of your life, the way to achieve those dreams is through mentorship, is through counselors to receive those dreams and your goals. And every there's a framework. You might have counselors in specific areas of your life already, but do you have counselors in every area of your life? There are 7 areas of your life, and these 7 areas help us to see what areas we need counselors in. Maybe some of them are stronger. Some of these areas of your life might be stronger than other areas of your life. But if you do not have the results that you want in these areas of your life, then you are not going to be satisfied. The 7 areas of your life are, number 1 is physical. Your physical life, which would be your exercise, your health. Do you have the results that you want in your health? Maybe you want to get more fit. Maybe you want to feel better. Maybe you get tired when you're going up the stairs too frequently. Maybe you need some help in your physical health. So what do you do if you need some help in your physical? There's a lot of mentors that you can get based on different a different goal, whatever goal you want. And there's people you can go to the gym, and there's what do they call them? Yeah, personal trainers. You can get personal trainers, and maybe there's someone in that you know that has the results that you want in your physical life. You can ask them for advice. Or then there's intellectual, your mind, your thoughts. And then there's spiritual. Who do you know that has the results in your life that you are looking for in regards to your spiritual life? And how about your calling? Have you figured out your calling, and are you walking in your calling? And is there someone that can advise you in your calling? And the next one is financial. Um, a lot of us are born with limiting beliefs, or we are raised with limiting beliefs in regards to finances. Who are the people in our lives? Do we have the results of finances in our life? Who are the people in our lives that can give us, help us in our financial, to have a healthy financial life? Or maybe it's family. Maybe your family is broken up and needs some help, some outside help, because we try to do things in and of ourselves and it's just not working. But if you get the family, if you get a mentor, who do you know that has the results in the family? And if you ask them questions, it can really greatly help your life. Because sometimes when we're in the midst of the trial, when we're not satisfied with the results that we have, we don't really know. We only see things through one perspective, and it's through our perspective. So a counselor will help us to see things in a different perspective. And maybe it's in your social life. Maybe you're not satisfied with the relationships that you have, the friendships that you have, just the people that you have around. Maybe you want to learn how to interact more with people and to develop meaningful relationships. You can have a mentor and a coach to help you in your social life as well. So as you can see, that all these different areas of life are all areas that you can find a mentor and a coach for. So mentorship is not just in regards to one area, it is in regards to every area of your life. And the M in mentor is model mini mentors. So it does not mean that sometimes we think that, I have a mentor in my life, and we think that this mentor is everything. And what happens if you just have one person that you go to counsel for? Do you think that person is perfect in every single way? No. In this world, there's no one that is perfect in every single area. I think of even some of the greatest Bible greatest Bible characters. What's his name? The one who I forget his name for some reason, but he had the areas, he was a prophet, and he had the areas of his spiritual life was right, but the way he raised his family was not. So you would not go to him for family advice, but you can go to him if you are looking for spiritual advice. So embrace this fact that you have to model many mentors and not be satisfied with just one mentor or two mentors, but in every single area of your life, embrace different mentors. And the more mentors you have in your life, I will suggest to you that the more the greater your life will be, and the more results that you will have in your life. Because if you do not have mentors, what do you think your life will be like? Do you think you will be satisfied with your life? I suggest to you that the reason why you are not satisfied is probably because you do not have the mentors in your life that you are looking for. So the M in the mentor framework is model mini mentors. Not model one mentor, but model mini mentors. And I'm going to tell you the 5 steps to obtain a mentor. Sometimes we don't have these mentors in our life right now, and we need to find those mentors. So how do you obtain those mentors? Step number 1 is to get extremely clear on what you want. So the Bible says, without a vision, the people perish. And if you do not have a vision for what you want, how can you expect to have the mentors? How can you expect to have the results in your life if you are not extremely clear on what you want. The more clarity you have, the more you will find the specific mentor that you are looking for. So get extremely clear on what you want. And then number 2 is find someone who has the results that you want. Maybe it's someone that you already know, or maybe it's someone that you don't know. Ask God to help you to find these people in your life that have the results that you want. And maybe you haven't really lived as an intentional life as you wanted to, but this is the time, now is the time to get really intentional with your life and to find someone who has the results that you want. You're probably not going to find someone just by stumbling across them. Maybe you have some, but intentionality is key. And number 3 is pay them whatever they charge to find out what they did. So there's either 2 ways that you can pay them with time or pay with money. And I suggest to you that coaches are a really good way to find out what they did. Maybe you need a coach. Maybe you need to give someone money in order for you to receive the results that you want right now in your life. Maybe if it's a financial coach, maybe you need to give them some of your finances in order for you to make even more and get better results in your life. And then step number 4 is do what they do. Do what they do. It can be in so many different ways, but do what they do in the way they think, in the way they act. And then number 5 is continue until you have the results that you want. So continue in that. Sometimes it takes perseverance. It takes perseverance, it takes diligence, it takes intentionality in order for you to continue until you have the results that you want. You're not going to be able to perfect things just by seeing one example once and then thinking like, okay, this is what I'm going to do, and then it's just going to be perfect. The Bible says a just man falls 7 times, but he rises up again. So if you do not have the results, do what they did and then continue until you have the results that you want. So don't just think that trying it once and then it'll be perfect. It takes progress, and progress is perfection. So if you want to be perfect, make progress. So that is the M in the mentor framework. Model mini mentors. Okay, now what is the E? The E in the mentor framework starts with the word embrace. Embrace what? Embrace distant mentors. Now this is powerful. Many of you might not have the people in your life right here, right now, that can help you in all these areas of your life. So what you need to do is embrace distant mentors. Sometimes we grew up in a family where we don't really have, our family does not have the results that we want. And sometimes we feel like we're stuck. We don't know where to find the mentors. We don't know how to move forward. And in this case, the most beautiful thing that you can do is embrace distant mentors. And what do I mean by embracing distant mentors? Well, the word distant means they're not physically with you. And there's a few ways that we can embrace distant mentors. Right now, we have something in this world where all the technology that is all around us. Proverbs 8 verse 12 says, I, wisdom, dwell with prudence and find out knowledge of witty inventions. I suggest to you that these witty inventions, they are the technology that we now have. And it says, I, wisdom, dwell with prudence and find out knowledge of witty inventions. So it's the wisdom that will you will receive from these witty inventions. And these witty inventions is, like what I said, is technology. And what can we do with technology these days? There's the internet. We can listen to audiobooks. Books is a really great way for us to receive distant mentorship. Maybe it's podcasts, maybe it's an online course, or it's coaching programs. A lot of these things, you can do these in the comfort of your home. You don't have to go out to find these mentors, but you can find them right here, right now. And when we are not in a state of learning, sometimes we can get so caught up in the results that we now have, the unsatisfaction of the results that we now have, and then we don't know what to do about them. So instead of not doing anything about them, or maybe it's more daunting to find personal mentors that are physically around you, I would say start with embracing distant mentors. And as you embrace distant mentors, you will realize how they think. You will realize how other people think. It will change your perspective as you listen to audiobooks, listen to podcasts, listen to courses. And if you do this thing, it will literally change your life. Sometimes if you are not growing, you are dying. And a really good way to grow is to learn and do. So learn from these witty inventions, leverage the tools of the witty inventions. Psalm 68 verse 11 says, "The Lord gave the word, and great was the company of those that published it." It's the word publish. So we have the word publish is all over. There's YouTube videos that are published for our own good. There's courses and podcasts, and everything is published. And that is how we can receive the word that the Lord gave. And if we want to change our output, if we are not satisfied with what we have right now, you have to change the input. So what are you putting into your mind right now that is giving you the output that you have? And one thing that I would suggest to you is sometimes we are so busy in life, we're so caught up in our lives that we're not sure when to listen to these podcasts, these books. It's like we have all these tasks to do, and then now let's add another task of listening to podcasts and books and audiobooks. And I would suggest to you, instead of find those pockets of your time when you are not as busy. And one thing I would suggest is maybe you are doing activities that are physical and not as much mental. So while you are doing those physical activities, maybe it's like mowing the lawn, or it's doing the dishes, or things that just need to be done, but they don't really take your mental faculties as much. Those are really great times to listen to the podcast, listen to the audiobooks, and as you fill your mind with those things, you will find that it will change your perspective in whatever area of life that you are learning about. So I would say that it's really, really important to listen to these audiobooks, podcasts, courses in order for you to change your life. And there's two differences between, there's two types of people. People that are poor and people who are rich, whether it's physically or spiritually. In every 7 areas of your life, there's people who do have the results and people who don't have the results. And I would suggest to you that one of the reasons why you might not have the results in your life is because the poor people spend their time in entertainment. How much time do you spend in entertainment? In unintentional consumption. But the wealthy, they invest their time in their education. So how much time are you investing in yourself, in your education, in your mental, in your physical well-being? Just the very fact of listening to this video is you investing time instead of unintentionally consuming something that is not important to your life. So I would watch what you are doing, what you are spending your time doing. Okay, so that is the M. Let's go over the M, the E in the mentor framework. The M stands for model mini mentors, and the E stands for embrace distant mentors. Now, what is the N? The N stands for network. Network on purpose. Proverbs 29 verse 18 says, "Where there is no vision, the people perish." this is where I like to say I'm talking about intentionality. Yeah. Intentionality is key. What is your vision for, if you do not have a vision for these different areas of your life, like I said before, you will perish. That area of your life will perish. But so what is network on purpose? What is the vision for your conversations? Are you stumbling upon people, and are you being intentional with the communication that you are having between these mentors? Are you intentional with the conversations that you have? Or how about if you're attending an event? Are you just going for the fun? Or is maybe there is a purpose and a reason why you are going there? And I would suggest to you that by being intentional, by using the time that you have correctly and being intentional, you will gain much more success in your life, in the conversations, in the interactions, and in the events that you go to. Who do you want to meet this year? That's a question that you can ask yourself. Who do you want to meet? Maybe there's distant mentors that you have had that you want to meet this year. Maybe how about this month, or how about this week? How can you be intentional with the people that you reach out to? These days, it's not just people that you see physically, but it's people that you reach out to on the phone. It's through Messenger. Maybe it's through Facebook, posting on Facebook and connecting with people, and just being very intentional with the network of people that you have, and to not be limited to the network that you have right now, but to find other people, to be intentional and ask intentional questions, like finding other people's visions, other people's goals, and how you can support them, how you can help them, and being intentional with seeing in their lives, like does this person have what I want in one of these areas of your life? Maybe you can ask them counsel in those areas that you see that they are successful in. So just being intentional with the conversations that you have, the people that you meet, and in networking. Success in life and business is not about who you know, but who you meet and how you meet them. So are you being intentional with who you meet and how you meet them? Maybe if you want to climb Mount Everest, maybe you don't have that goal, but maybe you have a different goal. But if you want to climb Mount Everest and have, which symbols like a vision and a goal and a dream that you have, find people who have done it before. Because you know through them, you'll find out what it takes, what you need, what you don't need, what to do, what to avoid. So find people who have the results that you want. And that way, you know what to avoid and what to do. And Jesus did everything with intention. There was nothing that he did that was not intentional. So every conversation that he had, every interaction that he had with people, he was very intentional with those relationships. This speaks to me a lot, because I feel like growing up, I didn't really have very much intention with the relationships that I had, or just kind of going with the flow. So, but intention, I have learned that intention is the key to having the results that you want in your life. And you are not going to arrive at your destination by just drifting there. It takes real intentionality in order for you to actually reach the destinations that you want. So that is I want to share this quote. It says, "Surround yourself with people who normalize the achievement that you desire to reach." The Bible says, "He that walketh with wise men shall be wise, but a companion of fools shall be destroyed." So are you walking with the wise men? Are you surrounding yourself with people who normalize the achievement that you desire to reach? So the more you surround yourself with those people, the more the easier it will come for you to receive, to achieve those goals in your life. And if you don't have those, Matthew 7:7 says, ask and it shall be given unto you. Seek and ye shall find. So seeking for those things is the key to surrounding yourself with people. Seeking for those people who have those results is the key. Okay, so that is the N in the mentor framework. The M stands for model mini mentors. E stands for embrace distant mentors. And the N stands for network on purpose. And now for the T. The T stands for take. Take what? Take me to your mentor method. Now this is powerful. This is really powerful. Proverbs 22 verse 29 says, seest thou a man that is diligent in his business? He shall stand before kings. He shall not stand before mean men. Or the word mean means average. So if you are diligent and seeking, you are diligent in your business, you will stand before kings. In other words, one thing with the word king is there are kings that you can have in life in any area of your life. There's this concept of what I call a category king. Maybe there's a person, especially like in business, or it can be in any area. But who do you know that is like the category king? Or in other words, they're the person that everyone else goes to for that advice. So if you are diligent in your business, if you are just diligent in your life, you will stand before kings. In other words, you can stand before these people who are category kings, who and they can personally give you that advice if you are diligent in your business, if you are intentional. And ask yourself the question, who mentored you? Maybe there's a mentor that you have, and every great mentor had a mentor, like we shared in the beginning. So if every great mentor had a mentor, that means that mentor had a mentor, and then that mentor had a mentor, and it goes up and up and up. So who is the category king? And a lot of if you want advice from someone, you need to look at, instead of just looking at that person, look at who mentored them. And you will find that a lot of people, their mentorship, it ends up with Jesus Christ. Or even in the Bible, there's Solomon. Solomon had some great mentorship. Even though there's people who have been really great, they've been really like category kings in these different areas. They might not be alive right now, but they were still mentored by these other people. When you look at, especially in the business realm or in the mentorship, the coaching realm, a lot of people listen to Jim Rohn. I've heard that very frequently. He's like one of the founding fathers of these people. And then, so like I know there's people that have listened to Jim Rohn. So if you see people, if you see your mentors say like, I've learned this from this mentor, I've learned this from this mentor. Maybe instead of just being limited to that one mentor, go to the next level. Go to the next level and see who is the category king in that area of your life. Because you don't have to be limited to just the mentor that you know. But if you ask who mentored them, then you can, if you are diligent, you can find those people and be intentional. So that's take me to your mentor method. Also, one thing to remember is, instead of just thinking, sometimes we have a tendency to think of the how. How are we going to do this? How are we going to do this? And we get into this how, and we get into this like doing. But maybe it's not just how, but it's who. It's who and not how. So who has those results? And then you can figure out how they did it, instead of just thinking how, because then it's like we're caught up in the weeds. But instead of being caught up in the weeds, we can ask who did it, or who can help you instead of how can we get out of it. Because every belief, if you are not satisfied with the beliefs that you have, there's this concept that if you have a belief, that belief will lead you to the behavior that you do. And that behavior will lead you to the basket of fruit. In other words, the fruit that you have in your life. So if you are not satisfied with the beliefs that, with the fruit that you have, with the character, maybe it's in any of the areas of your life. It can be financial, it can be your calling, it can be spiritually. You need to go back to, first of all, the things that drive it is the behaviors, but the real issue is the beliefs. What are the things that you believe about that brings the behavior and the basket of fruit, that brings the character, the result that you have in your life right now? And one thing to avoid is to avoid limiting leaders like leprosy. You can see this fruit on the screen, and what happens if you have limiting leaders around you is that they, you can see there's two pears, and one pear is rotting, and now the other pear is rotting. So if you have a limited leader in any area of your life, that limitation will go into, will affect you regardless, even if you don't want it to. So avoid limiting leaders. Avoid people who do not have the results that you have in those areas and do not accept those results. It was very freeing to me when I realized that just because someone gives you advice does not mean that you have to accept it. That was very, very freeing to me. And the question that you can ask yourself is, are you satisfied? Are you happy? Like, if you had their results in that area of your life that they're giving you advice on, would you be satisfied with those results? And a lot of times it's no. I would not be satisfied. So then why would you accept their advice? Why would you accept their advice if you are not satisfied with the results that they have? There's other people that you can go to that have those results, and they will give you a lot better advice than the people that that don't have those results. For instance, if someone is divorced maybe like 2 times, you would not take family advice, relationship advice from someone who is divorced 2 times. But who actually has the results that you want in those different areas? And I would suggest to you to take some time to write people down. Be intentional and write down the people that you see in these 7 areas of your life that have those results. And I think it'll bring you a lot of freedom, intentionality, and clarity to know where you want to go in your life. So that is the T in the mentor framework. Let's go through them. Again, model mini mentors, embrace distant mentors, and network on purpose. And T is take me to your mentor method. And now for the O. O is for obtain. Obtain what? Obtain an attractive character. And you might wonder, like, what does that mean? Obtain an attractive character. Proverbs 18 and verse 16 says, a man's gift maketh room for him and bringeth him before great men. So it is your gifts or your character that will surround you. If you want to surround yourself with good people, become a person who good people want to surround themselves with. That is the key. If you are not attractive in those areas, if your character is very limiting, then you will not attract people who have those results in your life, because you are an average of the top 5 voices that you listen to the most. So if you start listening to different people, the results in your life will change. But if you change, the people around you will change as well. So if you develop an attractive character, you will attract those who have those results in your life. So who do wise men want to walk with? If you were a wise man, who would you want to walk with? Proverbs 13 and verse 20 says, "He that walketh with wise men shall be wise, but a companion of fools shall be destroyed." So if you walk with wise men, you shall be wise. What character? There's this exercise that I went through a while ago that was very, very mind blowing to me. This process that I went through. A friend of mine, he asked me, what character traits would an ideal friend look like? So if you ask yourself, what are, like, in your life, what would an ideal friend look like? What would they do and what would they not do? And create a list of things that they would do and things that they would not do. And when you do that, after creating this list, what I did is I created a list of, like, okay, I want my ideal friend, I want them to push me, or to help me to be a better person. And I don't want them to you can go into a lot of detail of, like, what an ideal friend would look like, or what would they not do. Maybe they wouldn't talk behind your back, or they wouldn't just all these things. List out these characteristic traits of what an ideal friend would look like. I really encourage you to do this exercise and take the time to do it. And then ask yourself, are you doing those things? Are you the ideal friend that someone else would be looking for? And that really hit me hard. Like, wow, I want all these things in an ideal friend, but am I doing those things? Because if you are not doing those things, neither will you attract those types of people. So it's not necessarily just about the people around you, but it's taking advantage of, but it's who you are and how you yourself can level up. We can't blame other people for the results that we have in our life. We have to be intentional and to mold and shape our characters according to what we would desire in our lives. So do that exercise and it will transform your life. Okay, that is the O in the mentor framework, which is, let me go through them. And the reason why I'm going through them every single time is because the more you go over something, the more you will remember it. So M is for model mini mentors. And if you know it, feel free to say it with me. And the E is for embrace distant mentors. N is for network on purpose. And T is for take me to your mentor method. And the last one we went through is O, obtain an attractive character. Now for the last but not least is the R. R is for report. Report what? Report your lessons for others. Now this is really powerful because Proverbs 11 verse 25 says, "The liberal soul shall be made fat, and he that watereth shall be watered also himself." I really like this concept, and this is actually the reason why I'm standing up here today. It's because in order for me to really know how much I know, in order for me to really embrace to the fullest extent these things, I need to teach. I need to teach what I know, and by teaching, the things that you are teaching will be solidified into your mind, and they will become more a part of you. And you only know how much you know. You don't know how much you know until you teach it to others. So just the very fact of you trying to teach something, even if you might feel like you don't know everything, but once you teach it to others, you realize, like, oh, I don't know everything about this. And then you can be intentional with learning in that specific part of what you missed the last time you taught it. And then when you teach it again, it solidifies it even more and even more into your mind. So the best way that once you learn something from a mentor, once you learn something from someone I would encourage you, who do you know that has those same problems that you had? Who is looking for those same results that you are? And go teach it to them. Be a mentor to them. Be intentional with the people that you reach out to. Be intentional with what you say in those conversations, and just encourage. And as you encourage others, you yourself will become encouraged. So this is really, really powerful. And the next slide, I really like this illustration because it really helps you to realize just because you listen to something once does not mean that you know everything about the topic. When you understand how people learn, like even learning, there is a science behind how to learn, and this why you should always, there's this explanation effect that says why you should always teach what you learn. And you can see that there's this pyramid, and if you just listen to a lecture, you only obtain 5% of what you learned. Now you're like, whoa, that is 5%. Retaining 5% is not a lot. And that is just if you are listening to a lecture. But if you're reading, it's only 10%. But even 10% is not a lot of things that you retain. So just because you're listening to these podcasts, these courses, these online courses, does not mean that they have changed your life, and that you will retain all these things. But as you listen to them over and over, it might increase the percentage of retention. That is one thing. But if you read, and then the audio and the visual, so if you have an audiobook and you're reading at the same time, that's 20%. And then if there's a demonstration, this is why demonstrations are so important, because there's 30% that you will remember. And if you have a discussion, which is even a higher retention, that's 50%. Because now, the more actively you are involved, the more you will remember. And then if you practice doing it, so if you're doing it, it's 75%. But look at the last one. It says, teaching others. Teaching others will help you to retain at 90%. So what value of retention do you want in the things that you are learning? Do you want a 5%? Do you want a 50%? Or do you want a 90%? Yeah, it's 90%. I agree. I want a 90% too. And this is the reason why I am up here teaching these things, because as I am teaching these things, I am actually retaining more knowledge as I am teaching what I learned from these mentors, and it becomes applied to my life. So I want to go through the mentor framework one last time. The M stands for model mini mentors. The E stands for embrace distant mentors. The N stands for network on purpose. And the T stands for what? Take me to your mentor method. And the O stands for? Obtain an attractive character. The R stands for? Report your lessons. Report your lessons for others. So I submit to you that as you do each and every one of these steps, that your life will be transformed, and you will not be the same. And just remember that every great master had a mentor. Every great champion had a coach. Every great influencer had an instructor, and every great author had an advisor. Every great teacher had a tutor, and every great king had a counselor. So who is your counselor? Who is your tutor, advisor, instructor, coach, and a mentor? And friends, thank you so much for watching. And remember, God doesn't call the qualified, He qualifies the called.